Hey, Jennifer, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, Kim. How are you?
This has been an adventure. So this is our first long-form video, and we've had some technical difficulties, so we'll see how it goes. But we wanted to come to you today. You know, it's been cooler outside, and I had to have a coat today, which doesn't normally happen, but it has been colder. So we wanted to talk about, should you sell your house in the winter? Because we get a lot of questions about when the right time is to sell.
A lot of people will come at us and say, do you think should we wait until spring to list? Or should we wait until the spring to buy? So a lot of times there's a lot of confusion, and there's so much information being thrown at people. People like us, ironically. So we just kind of wanted to clear the air on some of our suggestions and our thoughts on whether or not in the wintertime, is it the right time to sell? Is it the right time to buy?
So do you think there's certain buyers that come out in the wintertime versus the springtime?
I think you're typically going to see your more serious buyers in the wintertime. There is typically less inventory out there. So they're out there looking, and they're serious about what they're looking for.
So one of the things too that I've noticed is most of the time they are pre-approved. They're very focused. Like they have to come here for, relocation for jobs. Maybe they're getting ready to upsize, and so they've been trying to sell their house, and now they're ready to upsize, especially now after Christmas when the inventory or the market just starts to increase a little bit more.
And we have seen that. We have definitely seen an uptick in showings. We've seen an uptick in listing appointments. And I think if you were to ask any agent, they were going to confirm that information. So the market has been pretty balanced in Lake Jackson area. We're usually fortunate about that. However, lately we have seen it kind of slow down. And I hate to use the word slow down, but it's been stagnant. There's been not a lot of movement. And lately we have seen a lot more showings. We've seen a lot more people calling us to come out and list their house. So I think obviously seeing the rates move slightly gives people a little bit of reassurance. But I think also it's just a matter of you got to get through the holidays. I don't know about you, but for some reason this year, the holidays seemed weird to me. And I know that my mom was ill and there was a lot of stuff going on at my own home, but it just seemed like it was very quick. Right. It was like Thanksgiving and then Christmas.
Well, and I feel like this year, for some reason, or this last year, is that Thanksgiving it came right at the end of November. So it was like that last week of November, and then we jumped right into December. And then we only had like 3 weeks before Christmas. And so, yes, it did feel a little strange on that end. Do you think that pricing is a deciding factor on when you list your house in the wintertime?
Absolutely, because I think if a home, is overpriced, a buyer is not going to look at it. They're just going to move past it, simply because they are very serious and they're not going to waste their time.
Right. They just don't have the time. So it's not necessarily that you're discounting a house versus winter or during summer, because you have to remember, we look at those 6 months of comparables. So even when we come into March, April, we're still looking at the sales that sold as just like an appraiser also, that we're looking at those sales that went through in November, December, and then also in January and February.
Right. So it's not about the discounting on price. It's about being aligned with the demand.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think when the price matches the reality, the winter buyers are quickly to respond.
Mm-hmm. So let's kind of talk about condition, because, we come into a market in the wintertime and of course, the trees are dead and the grass is dead, and our landscaping is pretty rough looking, especially if we've had a freeze. Do you feel like that buyers really care about green grass necessarily?
I don't think it's necessarily the green grass. I think it's definitely what's going on with the house in itself. Right. So I definitely still believe in curb appeal. I mean, let's be for real. You have 8 seconds to capture someone's attention. So I think that the house needs to look like it's been taken care of. If there's dead leaves all around the door, stoop, clean those up. You clean down the cobwebs. I mean, we get it. I mean, life happens, right? Make sure your Christmas tree, especially if it's February.
Lights are down, exactly.
It's February. We
I
don't
had a
even know about
nightmare one
Christmas.
time where the Christmas lights were on my house until February, and then thank goodness I woke up. So,
Well, especially when you only put up a wreath.
yeah, when you put up a wreath and a half of a tree, Charlie Brown tree, that doesn't count. So, but I think also that you need to make sure that it's warm and inviting.
Absolutely.
And,
No one wants to walk into a cold house. Right. And I know temperature, what you might consider as cold, I might consider as hot. We have people like that, right? I would say you want to keep it a neutral 72 degrees would be good in the wintertime. I mean, that's a 70, 72 degrees because you don't want people to come in and be cold. You want it to feel hot. Or too hot. You want them to come in and feel like it's warm and welcoming.
Yeah. And make sure also that it's really clean and bright, because here in the wintertime, a lot of times we know that especially in the evenings, our sun goes down a lot earlier. And so we need to make sure that we've got light bulbs in all the fixtures, that when people come in and turn on the lights, maybe if you have a late evening showing, you might end up turning on the lights to help you, and just make sure that it's clean and bright and comfortable and ready to show when they come in. And like she said, cared for, and make sure that all the leaves are taken off of the front porch, and just continue to blow those. The best thing for those is actually one of those, we just bought one of those odd gas powered or electric blowers that you just plug in and charge. The little ones. Kevin loves that thing. My husband just blows that thing all the time. Every time you turn around.
How about he puts off all the furniture?
Yeah.
Too, so get that out too.
Puts up all the furniture in the wintertime. And that's a good point. If you have an outside, and also if you have an outside area, continue to leave all of your furniture out. Make sure the cushions are on, that you clean up around your patio on the outside of your house. And like Jennifer said, making sure that your leaves are all swept up and cleaned up all the time. And then even a fresh mow over the grass and fresh mulch can do a great job.
And I will tell you, there are people that have the swimming pools and they like to cover their swimming pools because of the leaves and all that. And I get that, totally respect that. However, if you're trying to sell your house and it's the wintertime, I would highly suggest you don't cover the pool. That's a huge selling point to a home for someone who's looking for a swimming pool. And if they can't see the swimming pool, it does definitely turn them off.
Well, and it's easier for an inspector to get in also once the house sells, to be able to look at the pool if the cover is not on. And yes, I get it, because pools with leaves are kind of a nightmare, but it is better to keep it off if possible.
Absolutely.
Let's talk here about like new construction, because we have a lot of communities like Angleton they are getting lots of new construction built. And it seems to be that sometimes in the wintertime that there's a possibility that new homes, they could offer more rate buy downs, better incentives, things to come in and purchase a home in the winter, because it is a slower market sometimes and they're ready to move those properties. So do you think that really makes a difference?
Absolutely. I believe that if a buyer is serious, and that's what we run up against as agents when we have homes that are not brand new, it's tough to compete against builders because they have those deeper pockets where they can offer those incentives. As a seller, you don't have those opportunities typically to say, hey, I'll pay $20,000 towards your closing cost, or I'll buy down your rate. Yes, it can be negotiated, but it's not something you're going to want to do. So I think that buyers, we are competing with and I say competing, that's kind of a strong word. I would say it is something we have to look at when we're looking at new builds versus resales, for sure.
So I don't think there is a bad time to sell your home. Everyone has to choose to sell their home when it's right for them.
So Kim, what are some things as a seller that you should be concerned with if your home is vacant, if you've already moved out of your home?
Well, here in South Texas, we don't have to worry that much about freezes, but we do get them occasionally. So if your house is vacant, you want to make sure that you have all the pipes wrapped and that you have winterized it. You could even winterize the toilets, and we could put something on the toilets saying for people not to use them. They do this a lot in foreclosure properties. But also, do not turn your utilities off. If you want to turn it off on the outside main and drain the water line, that's fine. But remember, when we turn our utilities off, when we do sell the property, it just becomes more of a hassle to be able to do our inspections.
And believe it or not, buyers going through a home a lot of times like to turn on the water to see what the pressure is like. They want to see what's going on with the house. So if the utilities are off, then we have to explain that to the buyer. And a lot of times they don't have patience. They're looking at that right house, and if it's not going to have that one certain thing done, they're going to move on.
Yeah. So I do feel like if you're thinking about selling or wondering about selling, it makes sense for your situation that any time is the right time. And so if you, it's all about local data and world experience.
So selling in the winter isn't about luck or timing. It's actually about knowing the strategy and preparation that your buyers are going to be looking for.
And that's really where real guidance makes all the difference. And we can do that for you. And so if you are ready to sell or just need some information about selling in the winter, we invite you to give us a call.
Or if you're looking to buy, we will love to help you. We can find the best houses for you and help you negotiate through the end and to the closing table.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Do we want to end it different?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was fun. Our first YouTube video. So especially a long form. And so we hope to bring you more next week. And hope you'll join us.
I'll put on some more deodorant because I'm sweating really bad
in
this way.
We'll just get better as time moves on. That's what our hope is anyway. I decided today I might need an entire podcast studio. So
if you think of anything you would like for us to discuss, please let us know. We are definitely open to any suggestions. We love to educate you and give you information that we can. We hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.